The man on the motorcycle has parked his motorcycle. He's taken his helmet off. He stood up, he walked over to Captain Marvel, he put his hand on the map that she was holding and is clearly right next to her. You can see that his arm is sort of angled, which means that the distance between Captain Marvel and himself must be just a matter of inches, because it's not like he was reaching out with his hand in an extended fashion. He's reaching out his hand in a way that makes it seem like the map is directly in front of him. Even the slightest touch can be enough to satisfy the battery statute if it's done without consent or in a harmful or offensive way.
How about a handshake? I'm Veers.
People call me the Don.
Wow.
We're halfway through this.
He's trying to pull back.
I hope he's... because there's no defense for his stealing his shit, surely, because that's not even relevant to whether or not it was self-defense. Unless you make an argument like she was trying to run away from him. as he literally flees into the store looking for help.
Let me look up extortion real quick. The practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. She's literally committing extortion right now.
Oh, definitely. She's framing it as, I'm allowing you to purchase your life.
Okay, so why do I think that this may qualify as assault and battery? Well, battery is a criminal offense involving the unlawful physical contact or touching of another person, which is either considered harmful or offensive.
Any normal person would say, if we're going to use this definition for battery without applying anything contextual to it, then every time you come into contact with somebody else, that's battery. What? You bought something at the cashier store and you brushed their hand while giving them your credit card? That's battery. What? You bumped into somebody accidentally when you're waiting in line someplace? That's battery. Someone taps you on the shoulder to say hello, or that's battery. I mean, it's...
Well, I'm curious, this is the thing. If we're really allowed to do this, like, if I poked Rags and he was in a mood with me, like I literally just poked him, could he actually accuse me of battery?
You are not allowed... now, this will vary by state to state, I think, to some degree. But here in Arkansas, you cannot use your handgun. You can't use the threat of deadly force or deadly force to defend your property.
Mm-hmm.
So even if somebody is... the law as it currently stands in my state... So, pets, if someone is beating the shit out of your dog, you can't legally shoot them. If someone is killing your chattel...
Really? You can't?
You can't. No, you can't.
Motherfucker, if someone's beating my dog, I'm face.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's like, I don't care. Like
that's what the law is. You have to come up with something else. You can't
stupid law.
Can you wound them?
You can't.
And battery is distinct from the separate crime of assault, which is the act of creating the apprehension of contact or unlawful touching. There are two flavors of battery in most jurisdictions. There's the crime of battery, which is prosecuted by the state, and then there's also the tort of battery, which is what you would accuse someone of if you wanted to sue them for civil damages in a lawsuit. But most of this discussion should apply to both.
Assault is any credible threat or attempt to create apprehension.
Well, so
Which of those two happen?
This is why we have a jury,
Yeah,
though,
either
right?
way
So wait. So like,
What was the threat and what was the apprehension?
if I had a
The attempt to create
chainsaw and I was
apprehension?
bringing it down on your head and you roll backwards to avoid it, and you have video of this, a jury can conclude that that was assault for sure. But if I had my hand just above your head by like an inch, and I was patting you, and I went to do a 2-inch pat, and you rolled away, and you were like, that was a credible threat, a jury would be like, you're a fucking joke. That's why the jury controls this, right? These are just guidelines to set up the prosecution/defense, and then the jury has to decide whether or not it's a fair application of the law. Is that how it works, or am I making shit up? Fucking hell, if we were to go by as long as it can fit this definition, wouldn't, like, everyone be in jail by now? Because it's like, someone looked at me, it was a credible threat.
I mean, from her perspective, there's no way he could do anything to her. And she knows it.
By way of example, California Penal Code Section 242 defines battery as any willful and unlawful use of force or violence upon the person of another. To meet this criteria, The prosecutor has to be able to prove that the defendant intentionally and unlawfully touched another person in a harmful or offensive manner, and the second element, which is that the defendant did not act in self-defense or in the defense of someone else. As any law student will tell you, even the slightest touch can be enough to satisfy the battery statute if it's done without consent or in a harmful or offensive way.
It can be counted, but it would never get through court unless you have extreme circumstances, such as it was an old person teetering on the edge of a fucking staircase and you touched them and then they fell over and died by falling down the stairs, right? Like, and a jury would have to see the video evidence of that. I'd be like, yeah, you fucking killed them. Be like, I just touched them.
In fact, you learn very early on in law school about the so-called eggshell skull theory, which is that if you make contact with someone who has a skull that is as thin as an eggshell, you're liable for those damages, even if the kind of touching that you do would not even hurt another person. But if it's enough to hurt someone with a very unusual condition, what we call the eggshell skull, I don't actually know if that is an actual medical condition or not, that's enough to make you on the hook for the damages that you cause as a result of your unconsented to touching, or battery in this case.
Legal principle that states that the frailty, weakness, sensitivity, or feebleness of a victim cannot be used as a defense in a tort case. That won't apply to Captain Marvel.
Well, wouldn't it be the
'Cause she's
reverse, if
fine.
anything? Because she's super powerful.
Yeah, that's the thing. She can't be harmed in basically any way.
And almost as important is that the contact requirement with another person is satisfied even if it's just touching their clothing, or if you touch something that is immediately connected to that person. So if you punched someone and you punch them through their shirt, now technically you haven't made contact with that person, but because the shirt is so connected to the person, punching them through a garment of some kind is enough to satisfy the touching of a person requirement.
There we go, we've come full circle. So, if I was to poke Rags in the eye, that's very different from me poking him in the contact lens, because it's not his eye, but it would still potentially do the exact same kind of damage. And then you can extend that forward to glasses he's wearing, or a gas mask that I fucking poke right through, and he's about to say, like, if Rags was holding a rope, I don't know, and I pulled it really hard without you realizing, I could really do damage to your arm, if you were, you know, grasping it hard.
Yeah,
so.
you just pull me down. You just pull me down, and I'd fall on the ground.
And so he's right, but fucking hell. We're talking about the map here? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like, is that law real? Is the spirit of that law that you have to convince a jury about, is that really gonna be in one of those situations where you're hurting people's immediate articles? Is the jury gonna be like, oh yeah, that's battery what you did? It's like,
And this is the thing, that's why we actually get to have a valid response to this, because we could potentially be in that jury.
And crucially, that extends to things that are immediately connected outside of the clothing as well. So for example, if someone was walking down the street and they were holding a cell phone in their hand, if you went up to that person and smacked the cell phone right out of their hand, well, even if you don't actually make contact with the person's hand or their forearm, the fact that they were holding the cell phone and it fell out of their hand, that's enough to qualify as battery for the person. And if the victim saw you coming and was in apprehension of that contact, then you'd also be guilty of the crime and tort of assault as well. That's the apprehension of the physical contact. So not only would that count as destruction of property, it would also qualify as potentially the crime of assault and battery.
That
you
would
have
be
to be
fair.
the slimiest fucking lawyer on the planet to be like, well, she was holding the map and he did touch the map, so that's battery.
This is well, that's what I'm
slimiest
saying.
motherfucker.
You can do it, but what jury is going to accept that?
Like, what kind of a human being do you have to do to make that kind of an argument?
What kind of human being?
This
do you
whole
have to do?
video would be one of those things where he's like, this is dumb, but an asshole lawyer would argue this in court.
We see that in the clip, the man on the motorcycle invades Captain Marvel's physical space. There was no reason for him to stand up from his motorcycle and walk the 10 to 15 feet away from the motorcycle into Captain Marvel's physical space. There was no reason for him to place his hands on the map or the newspaper that Captain Marvel had in her hands. Now, of course, no one's going to argue that Captain Marvel was physically harmed by this interaction, but that's not a requirement to the crime of battery. All that is required is the touching of something that is immediately connected to Captain Marvel. And I think that makes the statutory definition of assault. And the fact that he has invaded her personal space, that he's standing only inches away from her, saying something that could arguably constitute a threat against her, I think that qualifies as assault as well. So this guy's actions, I think, constitute the harmful or offensive touching of Captain Marvel. She is effectively the victim of being battered by this guy on the motorcycle. And the thing about being a victim of effectively battery and the apprehension of battery, assault, that gives you access to the legal justification of self-defense. Arguably, she was partially justified here.
Yeah, but that is, what's the appropriate level of self-defense here? I'd say, you know, a gun?
I'd say please go away.
A minigun,
yeah,
maybe?
Please go away.
I'd say put a grenade in the Don's pocket is the only appropriate response to this.
Yeah, reverse pickpocket him and send him on his way.
Now, those are, of course, the legal arguments, but even if we're going to talk about philosophy, I think morally speaking, it's the motorcycle guy who initiates force. And under almost any conception of morality, once someone has initiated force against you, you are privileged enough to use the defense of force against that person.
First off, she won't let him retreat, right? And if you, in any self-defense case, like you can't shoot someone who is disengaging and retreating from you. You can't do it. If someone comes up to you and they threaten your life, right? And then something happens and they are running away from you, they're going down the street, they're not armed anymore, they're no longer a threat, and you shoot them, that's murder. Like, he was clearly trying to disengage and get away from her, and she is holding on to him. She's doing it because she wants to feel superior. She wants to take his shit. And at the end, she gives him a snide remark about smiling. No remorse. She wants to hurt this guy.
Like, she's clearly in the position of power.
Yeah.
So, like, how could she be threatened when she's making jokes as he's struggling in pain? Like, I don't understand how you'd assume...
I haven't even seen this retarded movie, but just looking at this scene, you can clearly tell she's, like, messing up his arm when she's shaking it. He's trying to pull away. You have to be, like, a genuinely awful, horrible, evil person to make this argument.
So long as you don't escalate from using normal force into using deadly force, which it doesn't appear that Captain Marvel did here. Was Captain Marvel justified in taking this motorcycle and jacket? No, probably not.
Oh, you gotta add the Don is an asshat, guys, just so you know.
Yeah, he's an asshat. Okay, so...
I like that he went through that first, like, 10 minutes of trying to vaguely prove by stretching everything that she committed battery, so that now... in this end bar, you could say, he did commit battery, so... And it's like, yeah, did he though? Did he though?
But Mr. motorcycle rider committed battery in the first place and deserved some of what came to him.
He deserves some of what came to him.
Some of it.
Some of it. Like, you know what
he deserved?
It. He deserved... Like, let's even framing it as deserved, right? If you put on black clothes... and run across a busy intersection in the middle of the night with your eyes closed, you don't deserve to be hit by a car. That's just the natural result of what will happen by putting yourself in that scenario. When a kid sticks a butter knife at a socket, he doesn't deserve to be shocked. That's just a natural result of his actions. When the Don goes up to her and he asks her for a smile, he doesn't deserve to have his life threatened.
I mean, deserve is a moral argument,
real
right?
Physical body. I mean, I'm only in the most vaguest sense. If we're gonna be,
you can't have deserve in law, can you? You deserve this.
And we can argue about how much force was justified and what kind of apprehension Captain Marvel was in and what kind of fear she faced from the sky, but certainly it is not as clear-cut as Captain Marvel is the villain or the motorcycle guy was completely innocent. It's never black and white.
Yes, it is, though. Why is it? What do you? How do you even? He hasn't even come up with a justification for the theft of his motorcycle and breaking the law when she drives in front of the cars.
The legal reality is always gray. My guess is that some, but not all, of the force was justified. At the end of the day, this tempest in a teapot was really about a select few people who wanted to have a very idiosyncratic view of this deleted scene.
Yeah, you're one of them, mate.
They can. Oh, yeah. I think you're projecting a little bit here. That's not a legal term, but I think you're projecting a little bit.
Yeah, him, Brown Table, quite a few others, they have an absolutely, not only insane, but concerning view of the event.
And really, all of those mansplainers who wanted to make a clever point about Captain Marvel being the villain ended up becoming the thing that they hate most in this world. They are wrong on the internet.
Mansplainers.
Mansplainers. So wait, sorry. Who are we? So mansplaining requires for a man to explain something to a woman. So all the male people that we've been responding to, we can't mansplain to men. I guess that's not really the definition.
Isn't he mansplaining to us right now?
No, because we're not women.
Oh fuck!
If we
There's
were
got to be
women,
some woman
then-
that watched this video though. So he's
What
committed
about
to
Star Wars
mansplaining
girl?
something.
Didn't she hate it?
She may have seen this video, yeah. So that's at least one.
He's an SJW.
Maybe.
That's great.
And as an aside, everyone recognizes that this scene is basically an homage to what happens in Terminator 2, right? This scene is shot for shot exactly what happens to Arnold Schwarzenegger in T2.
Captain Marvel doesn't get burned by a cigarette. She doesn't get stabbed in the arm. She doesn't have someone pull a gun on her. She doesn't get a pool cue snapped on the back of her head.
She's not a robot trying to save the world.
This is so bad already.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
No one called Arnold Schwarzenegger a villain in this scene. Everybody knows he's the hero. I mean,
No! You lying lawyer fuck!
What about the part where Arnie was physically assaulted and battered for our real...
He put a lit cigarette on his bare skin, and you just cut that part out. You just cut that part out.
Oh my god!
Okay,
and this
then.
is just ignoring. Arnie is a robot. His only mission directive is to keep John Connor alive. There is nothing else. He will do that by any means necessary. There is a point in this movie where Arnie is about to blow a kid's head off with a gun, and John Connor has to tell him not to. The whole point of the movie is that Arnie is not a good person. He's not a hero. He's a protagonist protecting the hero.
Why do I have to explain?
He's not a good person.
That we're judging
This is
the
such
morality.
Simple shit.
We're judging the morality of Captain Marvel. We have deemed her a villain because she has a moral compass and it's fucked. You cannot do that with a robot. You can't go, the robot is evil.
He doesn't have a moral compass. He's he has a mission he's programmed. And even if he did exactly the same thing as Captain Marvel, it's not the robot's fault. It's the guy who made the robot and programmed him.
obviously he was the villain in Terminator 1, but he's the good guy in Terminator 2, and this scene from Captain Marvel is basically exactly the same scene over again.
He is a force for good, specifically because we align with the morals of the human protagonist. It's a very... because we have to be pedantic, because that's the entire thing here, is the difference between Captain Marvel and a fucking robot. I can't believe, like, people will so casually refer to a robot and be like, see? It's fine.
See, this killer robot did it. With better... the killer robot did it with better justification.
Absolutely. He's a way better character as well.
Take it! Take it! Oh. But I guess it's different if the superhero has a vagina.
Oh my god.
This video is actually pissing me off. I kind of want to hate fuck something right now.
Oh, well, you know, I got some time after the show.
You're comparing a woman with a robot. There's not even a man involved.
That's the thing, it's not, he doesn't even have, like...
He's not gendered. It's a robot.
Why does no one
He's
remember
agender.
that the Terminators are not humans? It's like, why is this something we have to remind people of?
Now that Mr. Motorcycle Douchebag lost his jacket and helmet, he could really use a whole wardrobe makeover. Black leather is so 5 years ago. He could really use a slim-cut, fully custom suit from Indochino.
Your admiration of them is like a stain on their reputation.
Which he could even wear to his arraignment for battering Carol Danvers.
Where we say not guilty? Where the one where we say, yeah, he's innocent, but this bitch is a fucking psychopath and she needs to be locked up?
生きるリバサイガスの吹き溜まりはまちまったやつほど口が悪いここじゃ成功ってやつ雲隠れ俺たちの未来と空の色はグレー口が悪いし見つめだね全速で蔓延していたのかね見つけた最低限なら書き残すこの目しか見れない経験のなく名前だけこの決意に甘えはね